Hi everyone, just before we get into another episode of What a Load of Bulls, we just want to give a shout out to our partners, Newcastle Car and Truck Rental. Newcastle Car and Truck Rental are a locally owned company servicing Newcastle and the Hunter. Todd Holden and family pride themselves on being part of the local community, and you feel that when you step through their doors. It isn't a different person every time you call, it's the same people taking care of business and taking care of you. So next time you're in need of a rental, be it a truck to move, a ute for those everyday DIY jobs, or a car to get the family around on a day out, be sure to contact the team at Newcastle Car and Truck Rental by visiting www.newcastlerental.com or by calling 02 49 081 081. And don't forget to tell them DJ and Simon sent you. Welcome back, everyone, and anyone that's new. This is the What a Load of Bulls podcast. We're up to episode 69, a number that gets people talking, just like a controversial measure on the green. Simon Little's with me, folks. Welcome back, Simon. How are you?
Thank you very much, DJ. I am fantastic. How are you?
Not too bad. I see you're out of retirement, playing with Carringbar.
Yeah, came back out of retirement for maybe one game. I think the way it went on the green's probably going to be one game, to be honest. Was
nice of you to fill in.
Yeah, I did. I filled in for a couple of missing bodies, so I thought, I'll fill in and just fill a spot, and that's it, and save them having to shuffle a lot of teams around. But it was not a successful day on the green, but it was all great. No. It was all good off the green.
It's all about enjoying it at our age, mate. We're past all that good stuff, so it's all about enjoying it. We just we're better podcasters than players now. So
yeah, definitely. Well, the way the Bulls came out, that's definitely the way.
Did you get a day off work today? The day that we're recording, it is St. Paddy's Day today, mate. I know you're more into it than what I am, for sure. But did you get a day off today?
No, sadly not. I was in the office today, but I think the only sort of celebration or anything to do with St. Paddy's Day, I sent Ellie to daycare in a mini Ireland rugby top.
Nice.
Yeah, so she was strutting her stuff with a Irish rugby top, which was
I hope there was no French in there.
Flavour of the daycare.
Oh, there was no French in there making fun of her?
No.
After the way that Six Nations finished. What a finish that was.
Oh, Six Nations, man. I just watched the highlights of a few of the games. Obviously, look, the times of when it's on, it's like 2 and 3 in the morning. Like, it's not ideal. But, I look back, I miss the Six Nations. I miss watching all the games.
Yeah, it was always good lead up. Like, I still have that group chat with Andy, Dave, and Gaston, and they're into it every year. So I wake up in the morning and see what they've been talking about. But I was following the conclusion of the game on the BBC Sport Live on the app, and it was just like, France are ahead, all right, though, they're going to win. Now England are ahead, oh, dear me, Ireland might win this. And then France go back ahead. It's like, how are they ahead? There's 10 minutes left. There could be nearly 2 tries per team here. And the last kick of the game and the championship decided the title. That's just insane. What a way to finish.
I know, imagine like the whole of Dublin cheering on an English team. Like, that's just...
Yeah, I know.
Isn't it?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's a weird one. But yeah, that's the way we find ourselves. But speaking of which, mate, it is St. Paddy's Day, and there was an article I seen on the newspaper today. I don't know if you caught a glimpse of it, but some of the experts were talking about the population growth. And exponential population growth was the word, actually, in the capital city of Ireland. So I was reading that. Now, they didn't give any specific numbers, but from what I can gather, the population is doubling.
Stick to podcasting, mate. Stick to podcasting.
You liked it, don't get
That's a dad joke, that.
Anyway, what else is going on? Donald Trump's bombing everywhere. We'll not get into that too much. Petrol prices, though, is through the roof.
Yep.
You got $3 a litre down there in Sydney yet?
It's pretty close to it. Yeah, pretty close to it. Up your way, what's it?
I think I went past, 95 the other day. It was about 230.
Well, at least you've got the bike, eh?
Yeah, I did. Funnily enough, the e-bike came out of retirement the other day. So it did. It did. Got it over to work there. Went for a nice 9-kilometer ride the other day, Simon. I got off and Jaber's places were tingling after not being on it for a while, but it's good, mate. Yeah, we'll be using the e-bike a bit to save some money. Although we're in the market for a new car. I might have a new car by this time next week, next podcast. So,
well, you better make sure it's a Tesla because you don't want to be paying fuel prices. It'll be over $3. So yeah.
No, I had a look at the old EVs, mate. But obviously, with a family my size, there's plenty out there. Don't get me wrong, but there's none that I can afford. So now we're looking at a little hybrid option, mate. So let's maybe We'll keep that for next episode. Breaking news, maybe. So we'll see how we go with that. But moving into the good stuff, mate, onto the lawn bowls then. So what do we want to start with, mate? Do we get into some of the around the green stuff? I know we've got around the greens this week, and you got quite a few Q&As to go through as well.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I know where we're going to start. We're going to start with the big launch that came on the weekend from the TBA, our proud partners. Simon, talk us through what was launched on the weekend and how popular it was.
Yeah, we had a great response to our download our free weight control drill, which was part of last week's blog sent out. So you could, if you missed out, click on the blog. There's a free download, one of TBA's drills. And yeah, we had a great response and over close to, I think it was over 2,000 downloads in the space of probably 24 to 48 hours kind of thing. So huge response to that. So obviously that's what you guys want out there. And then, yeah, we decided then that we'd put out a drill pack. So put together, we had a few drills put together for some of the player development stuff. So yeah, we've got those on the Bowls Academy website. And there's 12 drills on PDFs that you can download. So jump on there and that a small nominal fee to get those. But 12 really good drills, and they show you a little diagram how to set up. They give you progressions, how to make them easier or harder, and also how to set them up, and also how to score them as well. So create a scoring system so you can track how you're going, and hopefully over time you get better and better at those drills. And
nice. And obviously easy to set up with the TBA targets that are also available on the website.
Absolutely, go well with those. So yeah, I've had a great response so far over the last few days, and plenty of people getting in touch with me and all, and saying how great they are. So yeah, jump on bowlsacademy.com. You can jump on our player development page, and they follow through there, and you'll see those to download.
Yep, very good. What else was happening around the greens? We'll duck back home for a little bit. British Isles Series was on, mate, held in Belfast last week.
Yep.
So women's internationals, men's internationals, and also all the British Isles Championships. Well done to Ireland, who took out the team trophy for the British Championships for the first time ever.
Nice.
So they won the most, or got the most points throughout the whole championship. So well done to them. But mate, what a conclusion to the men's one from what I can gather. England playing Ireland, Scotland playing Wales. Scotland and England both needing a win to try and win the title and hoping the other one fell over. And England get the win with a measure on the last end of the championship. So they were against Ireland to get up by a shot or so and get over top of Scotland as well and take home the men's title. So not a bad conclusion there. And our good friends Don McVitie and Sam Tolchard were part of that. So yep, hope the boys are still listening back home in England. But yeah, that was the British Isles Series.
What about being the umpire doing that measure? Eh? You'd have a steady hand. I couldn't do it. I'd be shaking too much.
I know. Apparently there was another instance. I'll have to get the full facts on this, but apparently there was a skip somewhere down the track. It was close measure, but they thought they had it and they declared the head. And it turns out they didn't have it. It was an end played, no score. Now, I don't like that because that's got to be exact for that. Now, if you're an umpire there at that level, you're there to make a decision, I think.
It's very rare. Like, you think over the years of you playing bowls, DJ, I can maybe 3 times over the space of last 20 years of playing bowls that's ever happened to me.
And on a measure, it's happened when both bowls are touching the jack. That's easy to determine.
But on a measure,
when you've got a measure and you got the string measure and all that going on, and we've got the laser measures now, which are approved as well. So why can't you get away with it? Which they go down to like the 4th decimal point and stuff if you need to. So yeah, by all means, I think that would have been frustrating for me at that particular level. But look, is what it is. And what else we got going on? So a special mention there too, mate, to Mr. Gary Kelly, who has given up 3 games of Platinum Pennant for Warilla, which we'll get into in a bit. We did allude to this a few weeks back that there was a rumor that one was going around. Gary's flew home to play in this international series, and also there's a test match coming up next weekend. And the reason Gary's done that, obviously, is Gary is very much chasing a spot at the Commonwealth Games. And he's still been being picked from down here in Australia, but he does do whatever he can, and people don't see that stuff. He does whatever he can to make sure he's still in the forefront of the Irish selectors' minds. Because it's very easy to say, oh, you're out of the system now, because you're playing down there in Australia. But he gets back when he can and plays in these events. So he's going over for the England Test Series and decided, well, I'll go a week early. All right. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, as we know, we mentioned earlier, Mr. Trump's decided to bomb Iran, and that's caused a bit of chaos with the flight
chaos. Yeah.
as you know, and as I know, and anyone that's flew to the UK knows, you usually go Singapore or Dubai or Hong Kong or somewhere like that. That's the way you go over Europe, Middle East, and all that stuff. Gary's had to go the other way over America, which is very, very rare to do.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Gary's then gone Sydney to Houston, Houston to Newark, which is in New York for those, and then Newark to Dublin, and then he's had to drive to Ballymoney. So this is from Gaz, right? 2 hours from his home in Shell Harbour, Warilla, wherever, to the airport.
Yeah.
3 hour wait in the airport. There we are, up to 5 hours. 15 and a half hour flight from Sydney to Houston. So we're up to 20 and a half hours now. 6 hour wait in Houston. So we're up to 26 and a half now. Then he's got a 3.5 hour flight. So he is over to Newark. 30 hours, and he's not even out of America yet.
Yeah.
Right. So then he's got a 2 hour wait there to get to 32 hours. He's got 6.5 from Newark to Dublin, which is up to 38 and a half hours, 30 minutes through custom to get to 39 hours, and then a 3 hour drive from Dublin to Ballymoney where he lives. 42 hour trip.
Jeez, for a game of bowls.
Well, a couple of games of bowls, but just to get home, to make sure that he's put his hand up for selection and the international for Commonwealth Games. So good on him. It's not easy for some to just, be picked out of obscurity and make their way over to Glasgow and participate in the games, like some are lucky enough to do. But that's insane for Gary to do that. And like I said, he's going to hang around this weekend. He's going to play there, and then he might have to do the same again then later in the year if he gets picked for Glasgow. I'm sure there'll be some pre-event things. So shout out to Gary because he's a mate of ours anyway. But like, it doesn't get the credit from all these guys. I just see the superstar Gary Kelly going around all these tournaments and winning events on live streams. This is what he's had to do off his own bat, and he's not getting paid to play for Ireland.
No. Ireland do not pay him to
Although,
play.
trust me, he would have tried. He's not getting paid to play for Ireland.
He is not.
So he's not. So he's done all that for free. He's over there now. And then, and luckily for him, Warilla were able to give him the time off to go and represent as well, because they had 3 games in Platinum Pennant, like again, we alluded to. We'll talk about again. So, good shout out to Gary there, folks, just so you just understand what he has to go through to be able to be considered for those higher honours. Right, we spoke a bit about Cabra last time, mate. They were underway, the 100K Masters. You fell off your chair when you seen that trophy.
Jeez, it was good.
Yeah, it was good, but who's going to take it home with them? Who's going to have to be the ones that cart that back to their club for 12 months until it comes around again?
Who did win, DJ? Who
won
it?
It's not going to have to travel too far because Cabramatta got up. Cabramatta.
Saving on old transport costs. Hey, that's good. That's good.
Cabramatta versus Carlo in the final, and it went right down to the last bowl. So they played a fours format in the final. It splits between both. They play 2 sets of pairs, and then they play fours throughout the whole competition. I think it's 3-bowl pairs and 4-bowl pairs that they play. But anyway, they play fours in the grand final. Shout out to J. Norris, who held the shot for Carlingford going to the last bowl, because as all square playing the last end.
Yeah.
And 5 out of the 6 bowls from Carlingford between the lead, second, and third were in the ditch.
No.
They
really?
were. 5 out of 6. 5 out of 6. Which makes it pretty hard. But J-By was able to go and convert, and he held. But Aaron Disco Wilson, the legend that he is, back-to-back Commonwealth Games men's singles gold medalist, goes up with the last bowl of the game, draws the shot to win it for Cabramatta. Unbelievable finish, folks. Make sure you go back there and have a look at the Cabra Bowls page and have a look at the final. But they've got games. They had the live streaming on through all the games too. They brought the guys down from the Gold Coast to live stream those for them. So well done, Cabra. I think that's back-to-back as well.
I think so, yep. Mm-hmm.
So, yep, congratulations to them. Moving on then, buddy, what have we got next? We're basically into PP3, aren't we? Platinum Pennant 3. So when we finished up last time, they just finished the first weekend. So they played 3 games. Now we're 8 games deep. So we're not going to go through the other 5. We'll just give a bit of a synopsis as to what's going on there. And there's a little bit of surprise happening, as we've seen last year with a couple of games, but definitely for this one as well. So as we stand, your top 5, Raymond Terrace, undefeated, 8 wins from 8. St. John's Park, second. Big climb up from last year. 6 wins out of 8. And one of those was a very narrow loss to Raymond Terrace, where they didn't pick up any points. And the other one was an 8-2 loss and only a matter of shots against Cabramatta. Third place, Warilla, 6 wins and 2. So they are 1.5 points behind St. John's Park. Then you got Cabramatta, who
had they not won against the had they not won against the Saints, they would have been 4-4.
Yeah.
They would have been 4-4. They're now 5-3 and on 50.5 points. So they're 5.5 behind Warilla. So they're battling still a bit with 3 games to go. Then our top 5. Now the other team that we had in the top 5 when we predicted was Maryland's. They're not there at the minute.
Nah.
In fact, you're 10 points adrift, Simon.
A few defeats there.
Because the Franklin Fong-inspired Wenty Magpies are 5 from 3 and in the top 5 in the playoff spots. And as we said, 10 points ahead of Maryland's Magic going into the final 3 rounds. Now, how does that look for them? That is the big question. Looking at the last 3 rounds for Maryland. So Wenty. Round 9, they have to go to St. John's Park, who are flying high in second spot.
It's a tough game.
Yeah, tough game. Then they've got a home game against Cabramatta.
Doesn't get any easier.
Doesn't get any easier. And then they've got, where's their last game? Their last game is an away game to Belrose. Now, they should be targeting that as a win, given how well they're going at the minute, but Belrose haven't been too shabby.
No, they haven't. They've picked up a few wins, yeah.
They have done this year. So, as we said, Maryland's 40.5, Wenty League 50.5. That's what they get the difference between 5 and 6. There's an 8.5 point drop then to Soldiers Point in 7th, who are level on points with Carlingford in 8th, and level on points in Belrose on 9th. Just shots separating them. So Soldiers Point had a good couple of wins last weekend, so they did. We'll go back and have a look at them for their round 6, 7, and 8. So round 6, they had a nice win, 2-shot win, 9 points to 1 against Carlingford.
Yeah, well, TJ, I had that as game of the round, actually, that result. Yeah. So,
absolutely.
Because I think Carlingford have a decent side, and for Soldiers Point, a new side in there, like out of that round 6, I thought that was a good win by Soldiers Point and a good pickup.
It was, but it got even better for them next round because they had to go to the minor major premiers from the year before, Maryland's Magic, and had to play at the Magic's home ground, and they beat them 9-1, 64 shots to 49.
I think that was game of the round as well. They teed up a good weekend. It was Soldiers Point.
The next one was game of the round 2 then, nearly, because they had to go to the home of the East Maitland Griffins, who were languishing at the bottom of the table. And a loss here basically would have just kept them in the relegation dogfight. And it would have put Soldiers Point in that dark horse spot that we talked about, if they got a win there, up around that 4, 5, 6 spot. Wasn't to be. 3-shot loss, 9-1 defeat to East Maitland, which was a big, big pickup for East Maitland, as we said, because if they didn't get that win, they're even further behind the 8 ball. Now, a team that just missed out on playoffs last year, very, very much struggling. So we spoke to Ali, seems to be away form, seems to be their struggle. So they are then in 10th place, and they sit down there with 28.5 points. So they're 4.5, beg your pardon, 3.5. My maths have been good tonight, Sam. 3.5 behind Belrose. And then they're 5 ahead of Charlestown in 11th, who are in the relegation spot. And then right down there in the bottom in 12th, mate, the Engadine Cougars, they are 0 wins and 8 losses and only 4.5 points, minus 146 shots. And if it doesn't get any worse, they had to give Matty Keogh a game in Platinum Pennant to fill a gap. So obviously Engadine's in a bit of a world of hurt at the minute. If Matty Keogh's getting a run, things aren't good. Things aren't good. But that's going to be tough for the Cougars with only 3 games left. Man, they nearly need, even if they get 10 points there, they're only going to get 10 points in all 3 games. They're only going to get to 34.5, and you'd nearly think that's not going to be enough.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough for them. But let's have a look at who they got. So let's not rule anything out yet because it has been strange at times, this competition. But round 9, we'll look at it gets even better, Simon. Engadine have to go to Charlestown, who are just ahead of them. So they need to win that one.
Yeah,
they need to win. If they lose that one, it's all she wrote with 2 games to go. So they have to go to Charlestown. So that's a relegation battle as it is. East Maitland then have a home game against Marylands. Now that's a must win for both too. If East Maitland can get the win over Marylands, that puts them away a bit, sort of helps out with the relegation fight. But it nearly condemns Marylands then to not making the top 5 and going from Penthouse to not
to
Penthouse.
all to play for there. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it is, isn't it? And like we said, it's at the home of the Griffins, so that's a big one. Maryland's chasing the win, East Maitland's chasing the win. We were focusing on Engadine there, so we'll go back to round 10. Engadine have then got, my goodness, a home game against East Maitland. So the bottom three teams play
each other.
Well, they do actually, because I'm telling you now, before even looking, I do know from speaking to Hilly, East Maitland play. I'm going to click on it now. East Maitland play Charlestown at Charlestown. No, sorry, at East Maitland in round 11, and that's the TV game. That's the live stream game. So that's a big one.
Big one to watch that. Yep.
Engadine then have to go to Cabramatta with their last game. Ooh. So looking back at the ladder, so if they can get a 10 off Charlestown, that still puts them 9 behind Charlestown. And then if they get a 10 off East Maitland, that could put them ahead of Charlestown, but they need Charlestown to lose, and then they've got to go to Cabramatta. Like, yeah, it's going to be. You'd nearly say. You'd have to nearly say Engadine are gone, mate, as much as you don't want to. Mathematically not, but I just think realistically the way they're going, looking at those results, it's going to take a massive turnaround for Matty Keogh and the boys and the girls to turn that around and stay in the competition. So, well, I'm saying that I don't see a line there like we did last year for the relegation, but we do think there's going to be relegation this year. And then Charlestown and East Maitland battling out to stay alive. One of them could miss out and go down as well. And Belrose are doing all right at the minute. Like I said, 32 for them, 32 for Carlingford, 32 for Soldiers. So they're not out of it, but they're a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, those teams are still in the mix there for relegation. So I guess those Carlingford, Belrose, East Maitland, if they pick up 1 or 2 wins in the last couple of games, you'd think that would kind of suffice that they would survive. So it's look, but I think Soldiers Point, they put on a couple of good big wins there that over the weekend, like 2 good wins, round 6, round 7, against Carlingford and Maryland. So look, I think 2 wins like that's kind of set your season up to survive in your first season of Platinum Pennant.
I'd nearly say if they looked at that particular weekend and where they found themselves, if they looked at that weekend, they're looking at that and they're targeting 2 wins out of 3. And I don't think the middle game was the target.
No, I wouldn't think it.
But they probably went down there with no pressure on them, thinking, we're not expecting to win this. Let's just go and have a crack. They've got the win there. They would have been disappointed then, going to East Maitland on the Sunday and losing that game. I reckon they would have been disappointed. That was a big, big opportunity. Imagine they flipped the script there. They get another 8 points. They're only half a point behind Maryland's in. You know what I mean? Like that was a big game in the end for them. And then, like I said, it gets East Maitland. East Maitland would have been in the relegation then if that had happened too. So yeah, it's good, mate. Like three rounds to go, all in the same weekend. It's not this weekend coming. This weekend coming, State New South Wales trials. So it is. So all those players, most of those players will be involved in those trials for New South Wales coming up as well. It's going to be on the weekend of the 27th, 28th, 29th, or 26th, 27th, 28th, I beg your pardon. So it'll be the Friday night. So it will. Then the Saturday and then the Sunday finishes up around 11. But it's just good for the competition that there's so much still to play for there.
Yeah, both ends of the table. Like,
really, Soldiers, Carlingford and Belrose are not out of it, but it's going to be tough to make a top 5.
Yeah.
Okay? But at the same time, it only takes a couple of slip-ups and results not to go their way. And they're dragged into that relegation fight.
Yeah. And I think that's key that there is relegation then, because all those games become null and void if there's not. Yeah. So I think that idea of relegation and 2 teams dropping out and 2 more teams coming in, I think that's great for the competition, and it has to happen. So
Carlingford have to have a home game against Warilla in round 9. Carlingford have St. John's Park at home in round 10. And then Carlingford have away to Maryland's in round 11. Carlingford's got the hardest run in there. Without even looking at the others, that's a tough run in, isn't it? Although 2 of them are at home, so that gives them a chance. I mean, they have to be fired up for that. Who else we're looking at? Soldiers Point away to Cabramatta in round 9. And then they've got, I've lost them here. They're at home against Warilla. And then round 11, Soldiers Point at home to Rematesh. So they've got a tough run in as well. Whereas East Maitland and Charlestown both play Engadine, who are way down at the bottom, and then play each other. So that sort of helps those other clubs a bit. Who have Belrose got then? Belrose are away to Raymond Terrace, home to Charlestown. So that's a big game there too, between those 2 sides. And then Oh, they're home against Wenty as well, so that'll be a big one for Wenty pushing forward. Yeah, big weekend to come, mate. Raymond Terrace, they're in. They're 72.5 points, mate. They can't be caught by 6th spot. Like, even if Maryland take 10 points there, they're not catching them. So Raymond Terrace are in. St. John's Park, Warilla, Cabramatta St. John's Park, Warilla need to really fall off a cliff. Cabramatta and Wenty are a bit precarious there, but they are 10 points ahead. So big weekend coming up to finish the PP3, mate. We'll have that wrap up and we'll know what the finals are next time we do the podcast, won't we?
Absolutely. We'll check out the live stream and see some cracking bowls, no doubt. Did you see the one, though? One bowl, seen it on Facebook. So it's obviously true that it came up the rink.
I did see that, Ben Winter.
Yes. Check it out, folks. Jump onto, I think it's on Bowls New South Wales Facebook page. He had a bit of a run at a head.
Yep.
Came off like a short bowl, sort of spun around the back of the head, and then all of a sudden was spinning on, like, not on the running surface, and then all of a sudden came up the green.
I think it was spinning in a particular grip that a manufacturer makes. Personally, I think that's what it was caught in. It's sort of I know it sounds funny, but I think that's what it was. It was so weird. Like, it
never seen it before.
Not on a grass screen.
Not on a grass. No.
Not on a grass screen. Like on the artificials that we can play on, especially up around the Newcastle area here, and the plastics and stuff. I have seen weird things happen. Like, guys will nominate to run out a bowl to take a bowl out that's 90 degrees from it because they can nearly get it to spin sideways.
Yeah.
You know, but just the way that went wick, and then just, as you said, just rolled in behind and spun in like a top. It was incredible. The only thing was he didn't get shot out of it. So it wasn't that good. He only got second.
But it was impressive. Like, it was impressive to see that a
bowl. It was something good to watch and just shows you what can sort of happen in our game. So yeah, get on to Bowls New South Wales and check that out. It was Ben Winter's shot, and then he was absolutely gutted that Brett Spur didn't tip the cap for him. The action was glued on. Good on him. Right, what else have we got going on around the greens then, Simon? I think you were showing me something there from Bowls Australia. They've got a bit of an initiative happening, pushing towards Brisbane 2032, isn't it?
They do. I did see
the long roll.
Bowls Australia came out with a new initiative, the long roll. So I think it's for this push for Brisbane 32 and Paralympic push to try and get bowls into the Olympics. So yeah, they've come up with this bit of like a one game over 32 clubs. Spans over 32 clubs, over 1,000 kilometers. So it's going to start in Sydney. It's like a 15-day extravaganza of bowls. So it's one game of bowls. It's going to continually played club after club after club. Wow. And they're going to work their way from Sydney all the way up to Brisbane. So a bit of a sort of media push and a bit of a thing about trying to get long bowls, I think, into mainstream and get people talking about bowls. So yeah, good initiative from Bowls Australia. Let's whatever we can do to push the Olympics and Paralympics for 32, let's get on that and jump on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So each club has been strategically selected and will host one round of one bowl triples, played over 2 sets of 5 ends, with a 1-end tiebreak to decide the winner. In the vein of a torch relay, a single bowl will make its way by various methods and means from one club to the next over a long trip. Very good. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
It will commence in Sydney and work its way up the Gold Coast with a symbolic route reflecting the journey from Sydney 2000 Games to its newest Olympic city in 2032. I like it. Whoever's come up with that's an absolute genius. That is nice.
And obviously the 2 teams is going to be Australia versus rest of the world. So let's see who gets involved in that and who's part of that. But yeah, interesting to see. 15 days, that one bowl is going to make its way from Sydney all the way up to Brisbane. Will it go via Maitland City, will it? I wonder.
I don't know. Maybe we'll go via Caringbah?
Maybe. I don't know.
No, get on and check that out, folks. That is very, very interesting. So, yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for that. So that kicks off on April 29th and will run through to May the 14th. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. That'll be incredible. Bowls isn't just a summer game anymore. With a MacMax canopy, you can play through autumn, winter, and spring, and even that weird in-between season we call footy finals. Whatever the month, you're good to go. For year-round roll-ups, make it a MacMax. All right, what else have we got, buddy? Move on to questions and answers. We had a lot of emails coming in this week, didn't we?
We did,
good,
yeah.
Some not so good.
A few random ones, a few random emails every now and then. Always good for one every day or so. Like that we get asked, One
Well,
of them.
mate, we've always been asking for the feedback. We've always been asking for people to converse with us so as we have something to do, and we got that. So, mate, did you answer? Who does mark the scoreboard in a Fours game, Sam?
Yeah, I did answer that one. We did get that one. Who marks the scorecard in a game of Fours? Like, I think one club had a bit of a debate, and they wanted the Bulls Academy, What a Load of Bulls podcast. They wanted us to answer that and solve that debate for them. So we did. We responded to that, and look, the official ruling is the skip is responsible for the score being correct. The skip does not have to mark the scorecard. The skip can delegate someone else to mark the scorecard, but ultimately, at the end, the skip has to make sure the score is recorded correctly. So that is the official ruling. So, look, overall, your time, DJ, have you had anyone other than a second mark a scorecard?
There was a year or two where the skips had to do it.
Yes, you are correct.
It was brought in for a year or two, yeah. It was brought in for a year or two, but nah, man, it was
thrown out. But
it's a job for seconds, and unfortunately, it creeps into selections as well as that person can't mark a scorecard. I can't play second. as if selections aren't complicated enough, which we're finding out a lot at Maitland City at the minute. We can't pick him there or can't pick her there because it doesn't do a tidy scorecard. No. Anyway, we'll not get into that too much. What else have you got, mate? Give us some of those questions and we'll see what we can answer.
So I did have one from a guy in England, okay? And I thought this was, as soon as I read it...
Throw it in the bin already. Throw it in the bin.
No. As soon as I read it, I just thought about you, DJ. I thought this is right up your alley. All right.
Have you read this to me before, or is this coming in hot?
No. I think I made you aware of this one.
Okay.
I think it did, but I didn't get your feedback.
Okay.
On writing a response, I just went ahead myself. So anyway.
Okay. What have you got?
So he said, our AGM is on in a few weeks' time. Our green is synthetic, and there's a motion put forward that we use a mat so as the green doesn't get destroyed with people dropping balls. He is not in favour of this, as he thinks that it will change the line of the ball. He asked what our thoughts were, and he also mentions we have elderly players that throw the ball about 1 metre. So obviously chuck it from the old hip and takes a metre for it to land on the green.
Oh.
So that was sort of asking our thoughts. And obviously, look, in the UK, indoors, sometimes they may put down like a sheet or something. Remember they put down the old sheets on the outdoors
when it was really wet.
When it was really wet,
didn't we?
Yeah.
Yep. You had to have the sheet on the 2 meter.
It was on the 2. It was a big, massive
started at the 2 meter and went out, and it was to protect the green. And yes, you could deliver the jack anywhere you wanted within the length.
Yeah.
But you had to place the mat.
On the tee.
Delivery mat on the tee, basically at the back of that mat. That's
couldn't
correct.
move the mat up the rink.
And I'll never forget the day that I was playing at the Northern Ireland Civil Service Bowling Club. And it was a wet Saturday afternoon, and we had to use the mats for a PGL League game. And the lead in the opposition team didn't hit the mat. 2 meter by 2 meter green mesh mat once.
What? No, these are pretty big mats. If
2 meter by 2 meter, mate. He did not hit big. That. Did not hit that once.
Chucking it more than 2 meters.
It was it was almost like it was deliberate. It was insane. Oh, look, I can understand the frustration. Yes, you want to be able to deliver that ball, and you want it to. Yeah, the mat's going to change the line. No harm if you're delivering it a meter in front of you. I don't think you're getting that away too clean, and it depends what way it hits on the wobble as to what line it's going to get as well. So, look, I've got two experiences with this, Simon.
Yep.
When my bowls coordinator's journey started at Thirul Bowling Club down there near Wollongong.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean Bellotti, absolute legend of a greenkeeper, probably only second to Matty Keogh, had blue rubber mats. And if you dumped the bowl, you had to use the blue rubber mat in social bowls. Now, it wasn't so much, I never seen that enforced in a pennant game.
Mm-hmm.
It was just for social, but we did have a little fella down there called Spudley. And mate, honestly, he didn't bend a knee. He didn't bend his waist. He didn't flex a hip. and he swung the arm as far back as he could, and he let that ball go from a vertical, like from his hip straight down. Now, if you can imagine that repeatedly hitting the green, that's not good for your green. All right. Now, it's not good for a grass green. It's not good for an artificial green. All right. Grass greens are easier to repair than artificial greens. So you need to be protective with your artificial greens, because you get damage underneath on the carpet, or the plastic isn't even the issue. It's the layer that's 2 or 3 underneath is the problem, the polymer. If you get damage to that, that's not just a matter of rolling it out. You've got to then take everything back up again and get them in to re-level it and things like that. And the clubs spend a lot of money on these surfaces.
Yeah.
So they have the right to protect them.
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to bring this one up, because you're obviously going through renovations at the moment, putting down synthetic
moving on
surfaces.
To the second one, yeah. So
and
that's what
you've got, the sort of inside information on, like, the upkeep of the carpets and what, any damage or whatever. But so I think my response to this guy that got in touch with this was basically you can't alienate your older members, especially look if you're a club that's got not a lot of members. You can't just turn around and say to 50% of your members, you're dumping bowls, you can't play on our surfaces anymore. Well, you could, but you're going to have no club left.
Pretty much. But you're going to
have no club left. Yeah. So
you get 5 or 6 of them doing it repeatedly, you're going to have no green left.
Well, that's the other side, isn't it?
Yeah.
That if your bowlers are damaging the green, and then your green gets undulations, dents, balls falling against the bias, whatever it may be, then you're going to alienate those bowlers that are actually delivering the ball properly and want to play on a decent surface.
Yeah.
But the other side, they're damaging the green. And so it's a bit of, you're going to alienate people no matter what you do, if you don't. So look, I think my response to him was like, a bowling arm is the perfect solution for this kind of thing. And
Absolutely.
look, you have to push people down that route. Go on, they can still play the game, they can still be involved competitively, and you can still be on your green and not damage it using a bowling arm. And look, you're probably going to get pushback from people, but I think you have a bit of experience with trying to introduce this to some of your club members and sort of forewarn them, haven't you?
Mate, I'd say we'd have close to, in the last 18 months to 2. So obviously we've been working on this project for a long, long time now. And we told the members a long time ago too that, I'm just letting you know, the minute these carpets are down, if you're dropping that bowl from any higher than 30 centimeters, you will be asked to use a bowling arm. So if you're already doing it, now's the time to get used to it. And I'd say in the first 18 months of that, we nearly had uptake of 20 plus bowling arms. So that was good to see, because the members responded to that.
Yeah.
The biggest issue is not going to be, though, your members, because your members want to respect their club. They want to look after their club. It's the visitors that are coming in. I'm not saying the visitors are coming in to be disrespectful, but if you've got a visitor from a grass green club who delivers it from the hip repeatedly and they get away with it at their club and they're picked in a pennant side, how are you going to deal with that?
Yeah.
That's the issues that we're going to come up with. But that's where the club has to have, and we're working on one, decent dumping policy or a green protection policy, as Bowls Australia have brought out. There's a Bowls Australia policy which you weren't aware of.
I was not
you
aware
weren't aware
of
until I flagged it up with you. But obviously,
No.
like you said, I've been working on it. So this thing was approved in February of last year. It was meant to be reviewed in June 2025. I haven't seen an updated one unless I've missed it with all the other stuff that's going on. But
so what's it called, DJ?
It's called the Greens. It's called Bowls Australia Greens Protection Guidelines.
Okay.
So it is there to protect the bowling greens. And it says things like I said, if you're delivering the ball in a forward motion from above 30 centimeters, or you're delivering the ball in a downward motion, so that is a proper dump, where you're not delivering the ball at the bottom of your delivery, you're bowling it before you get down to there and dumping it into the ground, and it's bouncing out from 15 centimeters, then you have a right to basically take the people off the green. Like, you got to protect your own green. So there's warning. You can't just come out and go, out you go.
Yeah.
As much as we like to with something, you can't do it. You basically have to be given a warning. The team manager has to be told, like, they've been given a warning. If they're not going to correct this behavior, they're going to have to go. And then, if that continues, then they have to be removed from the green to protect the playing surface. And they have the right to have a substitute put in there. If they refuse to leave the green, it's a forfeit from the club. So there is a policy and a guideline out there for it. And clubs come up with their own policies as well. So yeah, that's the second element. Like I said, the second experience that we're going through at the minute, because our greens hopefully be ready by the end of the year. And we want to make sure that everyone's ready to go. And like I said, they're not cheap, mate. Like they cost a lot of money up front, and they're only warranted for anywhere from sort of 7 to 10 years. And then the club's got to front that up again once, like, especially out here in Australia in the harsh environment. You get a lot of UV on these things. Like we're not going to have that issue. We got the canopy, but some of the plastics around here, like we got a lot of little clubs to spend the upfront cost to save on the cost each year on like greenkeeping. But mate, there's some of these guys that can't replace their plastic after 10 years, and you can see how much that thing's deteriorated and needs to be. So you got to do what you can to protect these things for as long as you can, especially if you're a little club that's maybe been given a grant to get one in, or they've saved up hard to be able to put it in.
Yeah.
It's their investment. They have a right to protect it. So as much as you want to have everyone in the sport, and you want to have, we are an all-inclusive sport, there still is those guidelines that have to be had.
Well, I think that's what kind of I portrayed to the guy that got in touch with us, and I said to him that you have to look at the lifespan of it as well. And as you said, the upfront cost to put these in is phenomenal. Sometimes for some clubs, it's a massive, massive expense, and you have to weigh up that benefit of, okay, you might put a couple of members' noses out of joint to say that they can't play, or you have to stop what you're doing, or you have to use a bowling arm, or your club's going to be in financial ruin because you've got synthetic surface that's no good anymore and nobody wants to come play at club. So as you have to weigh all that up, but I think the answer is to try and guide people down the bowling arm route, and
Absolutely.
do it. Not you have to use this in those kind of terms. You have to kind of guide them down that route.
Yeah.
And if it goes on and on and on, and you can't make headway with people, then turn to the likes of like Bowls Australia policy and turn around and say, well, Bowls Australia actually have this policy in place. And look, it doesn't have to be for synthetics. It's probably for grass greens as well. So
it's not and you're right, it's not a synthetic green policy. It's a greens protection policy. So it is for everything.
So if you've got a really, really good green and you've got one of your members who's dumping them on the green as well and ruining the green, then
hacking it up,
you can look at this as well. So definitely wanted to raise that one. I thought that was really good, and probably some good information that we can pass on to our community that might help them along the way with some dumpers at their bowls club.
Yeah, well, I certainly like that you've come around to me, because the other week you were letting people wear golf shoes on the bowling green. So it's good to see that you're protecting us from the dumpers and encouraging the bowling arm. But, man, in all honesty, yes, the bowling arm is an impeccable piece of equipment. Like that DHB that Dean's come up with, and we get no royalties or anything from that. I just know that it's the one that's most readily used. You can get it in the UK, you can get it in Australia. I think it's about £240, I think, back at home. And then in the UK, you're probably talking about $350, $360, somewhere maybe slightly north of that, depending where you go. But mate, they're an impeccable piece of equipment. But they come in all different shapes, all different sizes. He brought in an adjustable one last year too, because the big thing is a lot of them are only suitable for size 4 bowls, and some of the older ones would still struggle to hold a size 4 bowl at the bottom of the hacksaw bowling arm.
Yeah.
So it's not adjustable to whatever size bowl you want to use and things. So it's great. It's constantly developing, and it keeps so many people in the game. Like there's just so many. Like I said, I've had easily 20 plus over the last 18 months to 2 years take it up. You know, and the minute that somebody starts struggling, that's what they want to go to. It does take a while to get used to. And if anyone out there, there's going to be, and I'm going to front it right now, Simon, there's going to be people on the Lawn Bowls Australia page on Facebook, and they're going to go listen to these boys promoting the cheating stick. Go and have a crack at it. Go and have a crack at it. I dare you. Because I'm telling you now, you're not getting it straight away.
Yeah,
right?
no way.
So, do not.
I've had a quick go with one, and yeah, it was coming out sideways. I had no idea. Absolutely no idea.
It'll take a lot of getting used to. And by all means, like, people have improved out of sight with it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, these people wouldn't be playing the game without it. Nobody has used the game. Nobody has used the bowling arm to gain an advantage to go and play for New South Wales or Australia or Ireland or England or anything like that there. Yeah. All right. There's still all those teams are still people playing with their hands. There's a few guys have been able to move up grades with it. In fact, I think we had our first bowling arm used in the Platinum Pennant this year.
Okay.
Fellow from Charlestown. He's deadly with it. He is. No, he's not cheating. But no, look, that's a cultural thing that we cut out of Maitland City a couple of years ago too, because we're pushing this, and you still get those people joking about cheating sticks and things like that there. So we cut that out. If I hear anyone call it a cheating stick, they get a little tap on the shoulder and goes, "Hey, we're not doing that. Look how many of our guys are using it, and look how many of them wouldn't be playing if they weren't using it." So all those people that are going to be into us about you talking about the bowling arm, go and have a look at yourself. So anyway, that's my little rant just at the end of it there, mate. Love
Thank you very
Wombles
much. Thank you
Australia.
very much, DJ. So, yeah, we might move on to one final
What else you got?
Q&A, one final one. So, also, we got one in from, I'll not mention the name, but actually another one from the UK. DJ, going across the waters, UK.
No, man, we're worldwide.
Right on top of it. Says that he is a level 1 coach in the UK. I've been watching a lot of different techniques and various skills, and he's starting to doubt the coaching. So, for example, at his club, they've got an experienced bowler who clearly drops the bowl, but still, he says, is one of the best bowlers at the club. Does this mean consistent delivery is more important than technique? So, he said he looked forward to my answer and response, and he doesn't want to doubt what he's learnt as a coach. So obviously he went to a coaching course, and they've obviously taught him how to teach a certain technique and what to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said he's got limited coaching and hasn't seen too many results so far from his coaching, but is hoping for a bit of advice from us. So, and he also said to keep the little circle on the inside. So obviously he clearly listens to you right to the very end of the podcast. So
Absolutely.
Well done for that.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, what's your thoughts? Technique versus
I am
non-technique?
a massive advocate for that. I'm a massive advocate. I've said it to people in the past. I don't care if you do 3 somersaults when you let that ball go, as long as your foot's over the mat and you're not foot faulting.
Yeah.
All right. As long as you release it the exact same time every time, you're going to get consistency. So if that bump is the same every single time, they're going to get consistency. I showed you some videos earlier when we were talking about this. Ian Bond's a big one. We used to watch him growing up and playing in the World Bowls Tour World Finals, and they used to have the Bond, the Bondy bump, they used to call it, because he bumps it out of his hand every single time. It takes do, and away it goes. But it's consistent every time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'm sure it comes with its own challenges, and I'm sure if you're out of form, it affects you a lot more, and it's maybe harder to get back. All right, but if you've got a consistent technique, there's no reason you can't be a top player. Just look at, mate. Just go back and watch the BPL that was on recently. Go back and watch WBT that was on recently. I know you don't like to. Put some music on in the background. You'll be sweet. How many deliveries are replicated from player to player?
It's very
They're not. Like even hemisphere to hemisphere is different. Like Paul Foster, Alex Marshall, us, we run off the mat. That's how we grew up playing in the UK. Some of the Aussies tend to keep their feet on the mat. It's almost textbook. I remember when I first moved out here, a lot of the girls that were coming up through, I thought, jeebers, like they are just mirror images of each other. That is just coaching out of a textbook.
Yeah.
But you look at it now, they've all got different deliveries. Ellen, Dawn, Kelsey,
Yeah.
All different. Omar walks off the mat. Corey Wedlock walks off the mat. Disco walks off the mat. Very few are now in that posing delivery like Barry Lester. Sorry, Barry.
You're not sorry.
Never sorry. But you know what I mean? There's everyone's different. And all them guys and girls there have won Commonwealth medals and world medals. It is all about the consistency. It's all about consistency at release, consistency in setup, consistency in how you stand, your pre-shot routine. As long as all that's consistent, you're going to get better results.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you.
I don't think you can't coach. You can't just coach out of a textbook and expect everyone to look the same and deliver the same and not bounce the ball.
Yep. I agree with you. And that's something I had a bit of a coaching session at the weekend, and 2 lovely ladies that I was coaching. And look, that's what I said to them. You obviously, look, your ability to get down and roll the ball along the surface is not going to be there, and I don't expect it to be there. But there's certain things that you can look for in your delivery that you can try and get repeatability on. And that's like where the ball's released. You're not going to release it from way back at your heel somewhere.
No.
You're going to release it from your toe, your alignment. You're not going to point towards the backhand and throw a forehand delivery. You're going to get your alignment pointing down your forehand or whatever hand you're going to play. So there's certain things that you want to get right. And there's a few key things. Yep. Outside of that, you can do what you want as long as it's repeatable. And yeah, you can name a multitude of players that don't have a textbook delivery but are really good bowlers. So obviously that point of release and what they do is repeatable, exactly the same. So that's what you're after. And look, there's some things that you can look at in your delivery and you can sort of say, well, if you change this a bit, it might be more repeatable. It doesn't have to be an exact delivery, or you don't have to bring your arm back a certain height or get it to a certain point, but there are things that you want to a few fundamentals that you want to get right. Sort of grip, alignment, where you release the ball from, a few things like that. Think about, maybe everyone else can think about their delivery out there. But yeah, as it comes to a coach and what you learn in a textbook and what you actually do on the ball screen, I think you keep it as fundamental and as straightforward as you can, and sort of look for those sort of key components, and maybe you can show people where they're going wrong in terms of this isn't repeatable. You've played 8-10 deliveries, but have a look at those 8 or 10 deliveries, and there's something different throughout all those deliveries. So always good to compare to, as you say, DJ, some of the people that are on TV, and it's easy to jump on YouTube and have a look at their deliveries and watch them for a few ends and have a look, freeze it when they release the ball and see exactly where they release it from. It's the same time all the time. So have a look at that. I thought that was a good one to come up with, to finish up with.
By all means, folks, if you've got questions along those lines or something from left field that you want answered on the podcast or Simon to respond to, just flick an email to simon@thebowlsacademy.com and we'll have a look at it and we'll get back to you. And yeah, we love to have that feedback from everyone, don't we, mate? Because we're certainly getting bigger and bigger. And in the last couple of episodes, we've noticed the numbers go up.
And I make sure I get back to everyone. So I do respond, no matter how left field your question or query might be. I do respond to everybody. So yep, jump on there if you do have any questions.
And if it's really good, I'll respond on the podcast. So I will. But no, it's another good episode, Simon. So yeah, we've got not much happening this week in New South Wales anyway, but plenty of other stuff happening. As we've talked about in the past, there's quite a few Commonwealth Games teams have already been announced. There's a few more trials coming up. For instance, Bowls Australia have got a couple of squads heading over to Scotland for a test series. We just mentioned Ireland and England are going to be having a test series. We know from speaking to a couple of our friends from across the water over here that New Zealand will be announcing their team pretty soon. They had that test match or the multi-nations over there in Malaysia. Malaysia got to be close to naming their side. They've had everybody over there trialing out. Canada and England have already announced. So, yeah, interested to see how that goes over the next few weeks, folks. We'll keep that up to date with you because we're going to pump the Commonwealth Games pretty hard because we want to show that we can get into Brisbane 2032 down the track too with these multi-games events. Absolutely. But I think that'll do us for this week, Simon. So, mate, thanks for joining us again. It's always good to have your company, even though it's my podcast. I'm only joking. But no, it's always good to catch up, mate. So, yep, that'll be us we're going to have a 2-week break now, and then we will be back with back-to-back episodes, back-to-back weeks, because my little mate across the computer screen here is heading for a much-earned break in Bali.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can't wait.
And you're going to head to Bali and check out that bowling club. It's being built. Hopefully, it's done by then.
I'm going to. Hopefully, it's pretty close. Hopefully, it's not on the other side of the island or something. But I'm hoping it's close that I can go and see. And so, keep tuned on our Facebook page because if I get to it, I'm going to do a video from Bali Bowls Fab, and we'll chuck it on our Facebook page.
Absolutely love it. So yeah, we'll give Simon a couple of weeks off, and like I said, we'll be back with back-to-back episodes, back-to-back weeks, which will be a lead into Platinum Pennant finals. And it'll also be then a lead into our conclusion, and we'll be able to wrap it up the week after that as well. So, yep, should be good. Plus everything else that's going on around. Like I said, there's test matches going on all over the place. We'll tell you how that's going. Hopefully there's a few more Commonwealth Games teams announced. We can talk about that. And, yes, we'll be back as well. Don't worry. We've got a few player interviews lined up in the future as well to bring you some of those. We know how much you enjoy them. But, folks, as always, keep tuning in, keep coming back, and keep that little disc on the inside.
And good luck in those greens. The views, information, or opinions expressed during What a Load of Bulls podcast episodes are solely those of the individuals involved and do not represent those of any group, organization, or employer associated or affiliated to individuals. This podcast is for general information purposes only, to educate and inform. This podcast does not constitute professional advice or services. What a Load of Bulls does not guarantee the accuracy or reliability of any opinions expressed or statements made within episodes.